back to my channel. I am here with week 3 of the Harry Potter Lettering Challenge prompts, so let's dive into day 16. Okay, so today's prompt is "We could have been killed or worse expelled" from Hermione, which is one of my favorite lines in the entire book. And let's see, so here is our page for today. Let me move my bookmark. There we go. So I've chosen 2 different pens that I want to do for today's prompt. I was thinking that I would highlight 2 of the words in the prompt and then do the rest, so in this red, and then do the rest in a black Pentel sign pen. So let's see how it turns out. I have to say, I actually really like how this one came out. Aside from my one little smudge because I forgot to take my paper out, which I will make sure I have for the rest of the days this week. So yeah, I kind of played around with a different style of more almost printing, but still kind of connected. And I have to say, I really like how it came out with the 2 words in this like dark red, which I think this is 837 or something like that. Honestly, I've used this pen so much that the number has worn off, so I can't remember. But I like this color red a lot, and then having it with the black in between I think looked really nice. The one thing I would have done differently, and I honestly just didn't know because I sort of did this as I was going, is I would have just moved all of this down here so that I could then do the attribution down at the bottom. But overall, I really like how this one came out. All right, it is time for day 17, which is going to be probably a fairly short one because day 17 is chapter 10, Halloween. So for this one, I have picked out some vaguely Halloween-y colors. So I picked out this kind of orange 933, which I don't know, I was looking at my Tombow colors and I didn't have like a true orange that I wanted. So I'm hoping this will do kind of, or I hope that this will have kind of the effect that I am going for. And then I picked out a sort of medium gray, so this is N55. I didn't want something quite as dark as black, just because since I'm planning to do the lettering in this orange, using a black to do a drop shadow, which is what I want to do with this gray, will sometimes smudge the ink a little bit much. So I'm hoping that this being a lighter color, it'll work out well. We're gonna see. So let's go ahead and get started and see how it turns out. And I made sure to get my blotting paper today, so I would not make the same mistake I made yesterday. Okay, so this actually did come out pretty much how I envisioned it. You'll see where I did the drop shadow. With the fact that Tombows can be blended, if you use a darker color for the drop shadow, I've had issues where sometimes it'll like smudge the rest of it, and so that's why I went with a lighter gray. And I think it looks nice. I think that sometimes that black and orange for Halloween is just really harsh, whereas this is definitely Halloween-y, but just not quite as, I don't know, as in your face. Anyway, I just particularly like this color combination. And then at the last second, I decided that since I was doing the drop shadow, I would go ahead and add in a little bit of detail with my bronze Uniball Signo, which I'm still having a little bit of ink flow with this one, but whatever, it worked out in the end. So yeah, I kind of like how that one came out. Hey guys, so it is time for day 18, and this one is a long one. So day 18 is, but from that moment on, Hermione Granger became their friend. There are some things you can't share without ending up liking each other, and knocking out a 12-foot mountain troll is one of them. So because this is such a long quote, I decided that I was going to do another fountain pen practice video. So I have my rose gold Lamy, and this is actually a fine nib. I wanted an extra fine, however my local pen shop didn't actually have the extra fine nib for this particular pen. And honestly, since I use Noodler's Apache Sunset in here and it's like a shading ink, I actually really don't mind having a slightly larger nib size because you can just see that shading effect that much more clearly. So let's go ahead and come over to our new page, make sure I'm not skipping one. And since this is a normal, just kind of handwriting cursive practice quote, I am going to keep my paper this way. I know that the last time I did a fountain pen quote, which was way, way, way back at the beginning here, I actually did it twice in 2 different sizes, but this is an even longer quote, so I'm actually going to just do it in sort of normal size cursive. So let's get started. Okay, so this one is a pretty simple sort of lettering style today. I just did my normal cursive, and I hope that it shows up a little bit on camera, but this ink is so, so nice. You get a little bit of like a yellow to orange gradient as you write, and it's just so pretty. So since this was from the Halloween chapter, I decided to go with orange, also because I love the ink. I really enjoy writing with this pen and this ink in particular, so I kind of just wanted an excuse to use it for the lettering challenge because it's so pretty. So that is it for day 18. Oh, before I let you go, I actually did write down this quote on a scratch piece of paper because it was so long, so don't think that I actually had all of this memorized. Like, I have most of it memorized because I know the book, but just when I'm actually writing it out, I do have it off to the side for reference when I have quotes this long because I can't always be trusted to remember it while I'm in the process of writing. So that is it for day 18. Hey guys, I am back with day 19. So this one is another kind of shorter prompt. So today is just chapter 11, Quidditch. And so I decided to play around with a little bit of metallic. So I am planning to actually letter Quidditch in this black koi brush pen. This is also a brush pen that I haven't used on here. I personally have not used these terribly frequently. I actually have a couple of them. The Boosted Journal gifted me one, and I went ahead and picked up a black one because obviously I always letter in black. But it's just not one that I'm as used to lettering with, so I thought I would do it on here and show you guys how it writes. Also, I'm going to do, I think, a drop shadow in this bronze, so we'll see how it goes. Okay, so this one had a couple of things that went a little, well, let's say, a couple of things that didn't go quite as I had planned. So I like to do when I have two double letters that have like a loop. So for example, if I have two L's, two D's, I wouldn't have two H's, but if I did, I like to do the first one with a closed loop and the second one with a like a flourish open loop. And I like had this in my mind as I was writing, and so I did the loop first, and then that's why I had to squish in my little like circle to make it a D at the end, which I normally would not do that. I would normally do the circle for the D and then do the loop. I don't know what happened when I was doing that, but oh well, at least I had enough space to actually do it because I was a little bit worried that it was going to be too squished. So that was the first thing that was just kind of odd. The second thing that I realized is that a lot of times when I do more of more flourishes or loops in my lettering is I will have some kind of an end flourish on the last letter, but I very rarely start with a tail to like go in. So I have kind of a lopsided look where I don't actually have a flourish or a tail on the left side, but I do on the right side. And every once in a while I try and go back in and I'll add it after, but it's just not natural for me. And so I always think it looks kind of weird. I don't know what it is. I just have this thing where I actually really like the look outside of just straight up cursive. I really like the look of just starting the word and not having that tail like leading into it. I honestly, I can't explain it. It's just kind of the way that my style has developed. The third thing is doing a drop shadow with a metallic gel pen is really messy. I find that I have to go over sections a little bit more. I don't get, so for example, when I do shading with or a drop shadow with like a Tombow or another brush pen, because you have that point, you can get a really fine start and then kind of expand the drop shadow and then taper off as you get to the end. Whereas with a broad gel pen, you just can't do that. So I've got some like kind of choppy beginning and endings. I've got some bits where the lines aren't exactly the same width. I think this is one of those things that I'm just too impatient and sloppy when I do it. And so I never take quite as much time as I should to get it looking really nice and neat. And this is one of those reasons why it's fun to do once in a while, but using a gel pen like this to do a drop shadow is not something that I do very often. The one exception would be if I'm using something like a Pentel sign pen in a lighter color and I do a black gel pen as a drop shadow. I'm using something with a point, and so it's easier for me to do it and have it be a little bit neater, but this style in particular is just really difficult for me to control. And like I said, I think it's because I rush a little bit because I'm just not as careful as I could or should be or what have you. But other than that, I like how this one came out in general. It was kind of the look that I was going for. I was just playing with something a little bit different, honestly. So that is all I have for you guys for day 19. Hey guys, and welcome back to day 20. So today's prompt is a slightly longer one. So today is Flint nearly kills the Gryffindor Seeker, which could happen to anyone, I'm sure, Lee Jordan. And I was having kind of a mental block on what I wanted to do for this one. So what I decided was that I would use Pentel sign pens because I'm able to write a little bit smaller. And I decided that I was going to highlight the two houses and then do the rest in gray. Now, I have no idea how this is gonna look. Looking at the pens just by themselves, it looks a little bit Christmassy. You know, it's kind of the way it goes. So yeah, this one's an experiment. We'll see how it goes. So my thinking that this was going to look a tiny bit Christmassy held up. Honestly, I needed a darker red for Gryffindor, but in order to use the pen, like the nib size that I wanted, I just don't have that color in a Pentel sign pen. Otherwise, this one was absolutely just kind of playing around, doing different things. This week, I've been really playing around with this style, which is like semi-bouncy, but very little loops. And like, I don't know exactly. I think it's something that I saw somewhere on Instagram, like certain like aspects of it, and just it kind of came together this week. And so I've been playing around with that a little bit. I did mess up here where I wanted to have the crossbar of the F, then start the second F, but I accidentally like looped up, and so it looked like an L. So I had to white out that little bit. Composition and spacing is terrible. The only thing that kind of came out looking okay is the Gryffindor secret part, but the rest of this should have been centered a little bit differently and all that kind of stuff. But overall, as a prompt that I just didn't really have any inspiration for and that I was just using to kind of play around, I don't hate how this came out. I'm really enjoying this particular writing style, so I'm gonna have to play around with that a little bit more. So that is all I have for day 20. Hey guys, I am back with day 21 of the Harry Potter Lettering Challenge, and today is a good one. It's also a short one, which I like. So today is the Mirror of Erised, and I decided to bring out the copper Faber-Castell because it has been way too long since I've done any lettering whatsoever with this pen, so I thought I would just use this prompt to play around with that a little bit. So let's take a look. Since this is such a short one, I think I am going to keep my notebook like this. And once again, I'm not really sure how I want it to look. All I know is that I wanted it to be in copper. So nothing fancy with this one. Honestly, I'm just having so much fun playing around with this different style that I've been doing this week that I decided to kind of run with it and use it for today as well. This is a really simple one, and it's not a very long prompt, so there's not a whole lot that I would change. Yeah, I think the one thing that if I were to do this again, I would attempt to make Mirror and Erised both the same, take up the same amount of space, like width-wise. But then the and the of, I don't know what else I could really do. They're kind of okay as is. So yeah, this was just a fun little one to play around and to have an excuse to use my copper Faber-Castell. So that is all for day 21. Hey guys, and welcome back to day 22 and the last day in this week's worth of Harry Potter lettering prompts. So today we have another quote. This one is, "It does not do to dwell on dreams and forget to live," Dumbledore. And I decided to go with Pentel sign pens again. And actually, while I'm thinking about it, I think I might even try to incorporate the copper Faber-Castell. We'll see. So I have a feeling that today is going to be more of the same, where I'm just playing around with this new lettering style. I don't have anything specific kind of in mind right yet, aside from using all three colors in some way, shape, or form. So let's see how it goes. So I ran out of room to actually write Dumbledore down at the bottom, and I didn't feel like squishing it in over here. I probably could have fit it right here, but whatever. I wasn't really sure how I wanted to do this going in, and so I just picked out a couple of words that I wanted to highlight in either the purple or in the copper, and then I did all the rest in the blue. And composition's definitely a bit wonky. I wanted Liv to take up a little bit more space over here. I probably should have made Forget a little bit smaller, but overall I actually like the effect that this gives. Like I said, you know, if I had it to do over again, I would play around with composition where the things are actually going on the page, but overall I like the general look. So that is the end of week 3. I am going to do all of the rest of the prompts in 1 week just because technically there would be 2 days on week 5, but I'm going to try and get all of them done. I'm going to do them all in one video, and then I'm going to try and post it on the 31st of July, so actually on Harry Potter's birthday. So there will be one more lettering video full of the Harry Potter lettering prompts, but other than that, this challenge is almost done. It's been a lot of fun to do in July, but definitely has reminded me why I don't do lettering challenges every month, because actually doing different things with each prompt each day just takes more time than I really have. So yeah, I'm glad I did this, but I think that in August I will probably not be doing a lettering challenge at all, much less filming it, but I probably won't do one at all for August. So that's enough rambling on my part. If you guys like this video, please consider giving it a thumbs up and or subscribing to my channel, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!